Hi, hello, and thank you for joining me on my reselling channel, Flippin' Hippos. I'm Star. Today is Monday, so it's time for What's Sold Everywhere. We're going to take a look at the highlights of the week of January 30th through February 5th. Most of my sales on eBay, actually all of my sales on eBay in the last week, were just regular run-of-the-mill bread and butter. I did pull one out to show you because I want to talk about it for a reason. And then I got one exciting Poshmark sale to show you, and then my Etsy actually blew up, and all of those are pretty good sales. So we're going to look at those. But the majority of my sales every week, all the time, are the same old brands, the same old types of things, the same old types of costume jewelry, just over and over and over again, which is basically what a volume-based business is. You get a lot of items with a low cost of goods that are very similar, and you sell them in volume. And so that's why I've changed the way I do my What Sold videos, because you guys don't want to look at American Eagle jeans and Lane Bryant top, like just the same things over and over every week. So I pull up the exciting items to show you, and items that have a teachable moment attached to them, because this is a teaching channel, and I'm always wanting to help you guys learn. Now, the sales that I've pulled out on Etsy are all costume jewelry. And I think I've said this before, but the chances of you finding the exact same piece of costume jewelry as me is very low. There's thousands of ways you can source jewelry, and most costume jewelry is very unique that we're finding, whether you're going to thrift stores, estate sales, buying in bulk, or wholesale like I do. But it can kind of give you an idea of the styles and things that folks like. Like last week's What Sold, we talked a lot about animal jewelry. People like animal jewelry. So while you may not find the exact animal jewelry that I have, you now know to look for animal jewelry. So all of that said, let's get started. These are youth. So they're boys' Levi's. I typically don't mess around with kids' clothes. It's like not my favorite thing to source or sell. I know there are resellers out there who make a killing with kids' clothes, and that's great. There's a lot of people who sell a lot of things I don't like to do. But I will never pass up new tags, anything. And Levi's is a good brand. A lot of parents will buy this recognizable, dependable brand for their children, especially when it's new tags. And camo is a good print. I do well with camo everything. It doesn't matter what type of clothing it is. Sometimes I have camo plush or Build-A-Bear clothes that are camo. Camo does really well, whether it's this traditional one. There's one that looks like woods. You can find coats like that. And then sometimes there's purple or pink camo for women. So just keep your eyes out for camo clothing, new with tags. Levi's is a good brand. You can see that this sold for $28 all in for kids' clothes. So this isn't too exciting. It's a $10 sale on Poshmark. However, my profit was $7, and I probably paid less than 50 cents for this piece. I pay by weight, but this is less than an ounce. So that's a good profit, $7, especially on Poshmark where they pay their own shipping. However, I wanted to bring this up because holiday jewelry. So when you are outsourcing, if you see holiday themed jewelry, I would advise you to go ahead and pick it up. I didn't pull over here on eBay. I did have a sale this morning I shipped of a heart pendant, and you're going to see a lot of heart pendants on my Etsy sales. Hearts, Valentine's Day. These are for St. Patrick's Day. So keep that in mind. Christmas jewelry did do really well for me last Q4. Easter brooches, anything like that. People like their patriotic even jewelry. So just to keep in mind that folks like their holiday jewelry, and $7 profit on this, I'm okay with every day, all day. Now over here on Etsy, it blew up over the weekend. I got all these sales like in one day on Sunday, which is awesome. This buyer bought 2 pieces. So they bought this heart for $28. It's just a pendant. So keep that in mind too. Pendants do really well. You don't have to have a chain. You don't have to have a necklace. If you buy a bulk watt and you have a really cool pendant that's on an ugly or broken chain, take the chain off and sell the pendant by itself. It will sell for just as much as a whole necklace. Sometimes pendants sell for more than a necklace. So don't be afraid of pendants. Don't be afraid to take the chain off if it's ugly. This one is also just a pendant. This one's really pretty, this peacock. So this buyer bought both of these pieces. And this piece sold. It's a vintage bubble beaded fringe bib necklace. It's kind of like a tribal design. Lots of detail on it. For $32, and it's costume jewelry. I love selling costume jewelry. It's always amazing the prices you can get. This bracelet sold for $24. It's a vintage piece. When you're selling on Etsy, you want to make sure you're only listing vintage pieces or handmade pieces. And pendants can go on there as DIY fashion because it's not a full necklace. On Etsy, this is considered a DIY pendant for crafting or making jewelry. Let's see, we have this handmade. I have a lot of these. I always end up with a lot of these in my lots. These paper recycled beads, bracelets, necklaces. I haven't seen any earrings, but I've seen a lot of bracelets and necklaces. They're really super cool. They have like a gloss on them, some kind of enamel or sealant is the word I want. But they're recycled paper beads. They're really cool. If you ever see these, absolutely grab them up because I do really well with all of my paper bead necklaces. They're good for sustainability. You can put eco-friendly, sustainability, all those kinds of things in your titles. And this sold for $24. Here's another pendant, and this is a tropical rainbow. Plants do really well too. Animals, plants, holidays, the recycled paper beads. These are all things I wanted to mention to you this week. And here's another heart. This one's really pretty. It's a faceted crystal pendant that sold for $24. So you see a lot of pendants sell for the same prices as my costume jewelry necklaces. And you can kind of see the theme here, a lot of holiday themes, the plants, the vintage, anything faux pearl like this, necklaces, earrings, bracelets, rings, those usually do well as well. And I have this pulled up on List Perfectly because I still can't figure out how to pull up my sales on Whatnot without showing you the buyer's address. And that's rude. I'm not doing that. So I pulled it up here on List Perfectly to show you. I was just really excited this week to sell a static listing for jewelry on Whatnot. I have been moving a lot of my items over to the static listings on Whatnot, and the plush sell really well. Of course, I'm discounting them. I am trying to clear out my plush, if you hadn't heard. And so I moved all of my plush over to Whatnot at about 50% of what I wanted on eBay just to clearance it out. And I'm doing live shows every Monday afternoon at 2 Eastern to try to clear out some plush. And they're doing really well. So I started moving my jewelry over. And this was the first piece of jewelry to sell after I started moving static listings over there of jewelry pieces. I had it listed for $25. They offered $20. Absolutely, I'll take it all day, every day. And this is, again, another animal piece. It's an elephant. I thought this was a really cool piece when I listed it. I really liked it. And you'll notice a trend here. Yes, it's an animal. Yes, it's just a pendant. It's not an actual necklace. It's just a pendant for $20. So I will continue to move more static listings over to Whatnot. I did really well on my plush sale this week and sold about 25 plush. They're moving. If you're interested in grabbing plush at great prices to resell, again, I'm live on Whatnot Mondays at 2 p.m. You can find me there. I'm doing $2 starts on all my plush. I'm also there on Wednesday nights selling jewelry and Friday afternoons with DVDs. But if you're in the market for plush, they're priced to sell, and other resellers can grab them up. I'm not selling them because there's anything wrong with them. I'm selling them because I need more room in my garage for other categories we're moving into. I need to clear off this whole back wall, and plush take up a lot of room. So I've decided that I'm going to clearance out what I have and be a little more choosy going forward of the plush that I do sell. I also lost a lot of my sources to buy them in bulk. A lot of you know I used to go to American Thrift Supply and get the big Gaylord boxes of plush. They don't sell those anymore. I don't trust Goodwill Blue Box. I said what I said. The one time I tried their 30-pound box of plush, I got all Beanie Babies, so we're not doing that again. And our thrift stores around here have really jacked up the prices on plush. So I've just lost a lot of places for me to source them at low cost of goods. I don't go to the bins, and I need some more room. So I'm just clearancing them out. I have some great items, some really good plush. I just need the room, and I think it's just time to move on. Sometimes you move into new niches and categories as a reseller, and you just pivot and move. But yeah, those are the highlights from our sales. And then, of course, we must always assume going into these videos, I sell a lot of the boring, same old bread and butter stuff every week. If you ever want to see a video of those, let me know. If you're like newer to my channel and you hadn't been watching me in years past when I did my old what sold videos, or if you're just curious as to what kind of bread and butter I'm moving these days, let me know in the comments. I'd be more than happy one week to just do a, hey, here's my bread and butter that sold. But I'm trying to stick to highlights and things with teachable moments. I want to teach you guys how to source better, what to look for, how to price your items, especially that, because a lot of new sellers, unfortunately, when they're comping, see the turds that are racing to the bottom and everybody's pricing incorrectly. So I just want to teach everyone how to resell with doing the best practices and doing things in such a way that are going to lead to you making profits and be successful. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about anything you saw in this video, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. It helps me feed my hungry hippos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.